Hey, this is Ryan with Mountain Technologies in Calgary, Alberta, and today we're going to go over how to change batteries in your wireless devices in your alarm system. Now, last video we talked about how to diagnose the trouble in your alarm system. If you haven't seen that video, please click the link in the description and check that one out, because that's going to tell you what is causing a problem in your alarm system. And today we're going to go over fixing some of the things that might be causing those troubles. Now, before you get to jumping into the work, it's very important to note that the moment you open up any wireless device in your alarm system, it's going to send a tamper signal to the monitoring agency. So the very first thing that you want to do is call the monitoring agency to let them know that you're about to change a battery in your wireless devices. So your monitoring agency or your alarm system installer should have given you a card that looks similar to this. It's going to contain a phone number to reach the monitoring agency and your account number, which are both critically important pieces of information. So what you're going to do is you're just going to take your phone, you're going to call your monitoring agency, and then you're going to say, hey, this is Ryan, and I'm calling in regards to account ABC123. My password is Razzle Dazzle, and I'd like to put my alarm system on test for the next 2 hours. Now, the first device that we're going to go over is a Slimline door contact. These are door contacts that are designed to be as small as possible. They'll use a watch-style 3-volt lithium battery, and you're going to find these on the tops of doors or on the sides, depending on what your installer has done. Getting into these just requires a small little flat screwdriver. Now, once you get your tools ready and you're up on probably a step stool or maybe a ladder to get to the top of the door, you're going to just get into the small little areas and just twist your screwdriver and pry it open. Now, you're going to see this from a couple of different angles, but it's going to make a lot more sense once we see the close-up. And once we get in, we can see where our battery is and get that battery replaced. After you've replaced your battery, you're simply just going to reverse the process, and you shouldn't need any tools for this one. So you'll notice that the housing kind of only goes on one way. There's going to be a couple little grooves that fit into a couple of little notches, and you're going to put that back in and then pressure fit the contact back closed to close the lid. Now, one very important note is that your alarm system is going to show a trouble if you don't put your lid back on properly. So make sure that it's sitting properly. And if you get to your keypad and you see that there's a tamper trouble, that means you didn't put your lid back on properly, and you're going to have to take another look. This is a more common style of door contact that you're going to find with DSC alarm systems, especially the newer product. And this is actually a two-part step that you will absolutely need a screwdriver for to get into. So the first step that you're going to do is you're going to remove the flap that covers the screw hole. So once you get in there with the screw, you're going to take this little flap off and reveal the screw inside. Then you get in with your screwdriver and remove that screw, and now the cover is going to come off to reveal the battery inside. Once you've replaced the battery, you simply reverse the process. So you'll notice that the screw side has to line up with the screw hole. So you slide it on from the side to engage the hooks in place, and then you're going to put your screw back in, retighten your screw, and put your flap back on to cover the screw hole. All done. Here we have an older style of DSC motion detector. These are likely going to be the easiest type of device for you to replace the battery on, with the exception of one caveat, and that is that sometimes there may be a set screw in the bottom, which we will show you. But most of the time in residential applications, those set screws aren't popped in. And to get this device off the wall, you simply grab it and give it a bump from underneath to release it from its back plate, and then you've got the motion sensor off, and then the battery cover is inside here. After you've replaced the battery, you simply pop this cover back on and then put the motion sensor back on. Set it up top and then snap it down into place. Now, this is a more modern motion sensor that you're going to see in DSC alarm systems. And unlike the previous motion sensor, there isn't anything that you remove from the wall. This one has a front cover that you take off. And this one you can do tool free as long as you've got relatively strong thumbs. So there is a little sensitive push area underneath the front that you can get in, give it a squeeze, and pull that cover off. And then you need to kind of give it a lift up because there are two tabs that sit inside grooves on the top of this motion sensor. Once you've got the cover off, you can pop your battery out. After you've replaced your battery, you put the lid back on, reverse of how you took it off. So first thing you're going to look for is lining these grooves up with the notches in the top. And then you're going to push it back into place till it clicks and sits perfectly. Here we have a glass break detector. Now, I know I mentioned that the motion sensor, the older motion sensor, was probably one of the easiest ones to remove, but I forgot about this guy. This is easily the most simple removal process. In fact, there's a nice little ridged button underneath. You just get your thumb in there, give it a squeeze, and lift it up and off. After you've replaced the battery, you simply reverse that process. 2 little grooves line up with 2 little notches. You set it in from the top, lower it down, and snap it into place. This is an older style of glass break detector that you'll find with some of the older DSC alarm systems. Now, this is one of the ones that has caused the most service calls for us after a homeowner has tried to replace the batteries themselves, because this one is a little bit tricky to get off. You're going to notice that there's a little tab underneath that needs to be pressed in towards the wall, and there is a tab on the side that you kind of bump the glass break detector away from. So I'm going to show you what that looks like from here. So you're going to give it a press in from here, and then you give it a bump from here to slide it off that way away from this tab on the wall. Now, the number one reason why homeowners make mistakes when doing this one is they'll smack it too hard and send this thing flying off, and it lands on the ground and breaks. After you've replaced the batteries inside the detector, you're simply going to put it off to the side till you feel its feet sit into place, and then give it a bump back from the other direction to lock it into place. Moving on, we have our smoke detector. Now, this is a bit of an unusual view because normally they're on the ceiling, but the process to remove these is very straightforward. All you're going to do is grip the smoke detector and give it a counterclockwise rotation to remove it from the wall plate. After you've replaced your batteries, it is a simple process to put it back. Now, you're going to notice, I don't know if you can see from the camera angle here, but there is a very, very small, slight indentation that you can see, or a notch that lines up with a notch on the frame. So what you're going to do is just put that off to the side just a little bit till you feel it click into place, and then you snap it back into place. Now, here's a device that looks very similar to a smoke detector. This is a carbon monoxide detector. And like smoke detectors, you're normally going to find these on ceilings, but sometimes you're going to find them on the walls. Just like the smoke detector, the way that you remove this guy is to grip it firmly and give it a counterclockwise rotation, and it will come off. But after you've replaced the battery, you're going to line it back up and go. Now, in the event that you can't get it to seem to sit properly, there will be one rotation where it clicks into place, and you can see that this little hole will line up with the groove on the wall plate. While you've got your carbon monoxide sensor off to replace the battery, it's also very important to take a look at the date on the expiration sticker. Carbon monoxide sensors are one of the ones that do have an actual end of life. And if you don't see a sticker with an end of life on the front, you will definitely see one on the back. And it's a good idea, if this date is coming up within the next couple of months, to get in touch with your security installer and have them replace this device before it expires. Because if you're anything like most of our clients, the expiration will happen in the middle of the night and the beeping will wake everybody up. Thanks for watching our video. Hopefully the information we've given helps troubleshoot some of the problems that you've got and give you the power to solve some of these challenges yourself. Battery replacements are a super easy job to do, and one of those things that once you get it done, it's one less thing on your list of stuff to tackle. If there's any devices that we did not cover today that you would like us to see, please leave a comment below. And if you don't mind, please consider subscribing and clicking that bell notification and sharing this video with anyone who may need it. Thanks again, and this is Ryan with Mountain Technologies in Calgary, Alberta, saying see you next video.